What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Baby Check. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so I can help you become profitable. All right, let's get right into it. So this isn't even like a trade recap today. I don't even know what to call it. We didn't really get to trade today because TopStep unfortunately went down during the time that I was trying to trade, but it's whatever. So we're going to kind of just study what was going on today, what I was thinking as far as like the price action, blah blah blah. So starting out, let me go to the S&P 500, which is where I was looking at my trade setups and everything like that. You can see that on the weekly time frame, we have this weekly low that I want to see hold, and I talked about this in my on my YouTube channel in my weekly outlook for the S&P 500. So let me go to that real quick so I can show you guys weekly outlook an analysis for the week on the S&P 500. I saw us heading to the upside after tapping into this gap right here. So I guess looking at structure, you can see that we are in fact bullish on the weekly time frame. So I'm expecting a lower, higher low into a possible higher high. So we had a sweep of these highs, also a break of structure in my opinion, but it's not a strong break of structure. So we also have this weekly imbalance that I wanted to see price come into and then potentially show some rejection inside of it or lower in this leg of price, because from this low to this high is buying potential anywhere inside of this zone. So we could come down into this imbalance, reject up, and then go down further before we actually see the new push to the upside. Same thing that happened right inside of here. You see we pushed down into it, we rejected off of it, we came back lower, held this low, and then tapped and made a new higher high. So the same exact thing could happen this week, next week, whatever. So we have this weekly imbalance labeled, telling us that this is a strong area that we bounced out of. Now let's go straight to the 4-hour time frame. You can see we're currently making lower highs and lower lows. We have a high, higher high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we just made that lower high. And so now I believe we made a lower low on the 4-hour time frame as well as a sweep. And so if this 4-hour ends up flipping bullish and sweeping this liquidity to the downside as well as in this imbalance, then we may see a strong push to the upside. Let me go to the 15-minute and just triple check and make sure that in fact was a sweep. So yes, it was. You can see right here, we barely swept this low, and I think we also created an SMT with the NASDAQ, which we did right here. This is the low, this is the high, that's an SMT. If you want to see it on a split chart, then I will show that to you right here. So this is the low on the NASDAQ right here. This is the higher low on the NASDAQ. This is the low on the S&P 500. And this is the lower low on the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 is making a lower low and the NASDAQ made a higher high. So right now the NASDAQ is the stronger pair with this SMT. And this is the sign of a reversal, but not the guarantee of a reversal. And what I mean by that is we could come down, create an SMT, and then end up breaking it. So once it's broken, it's not valid any longer, and we still have the potential for that to happen. Now with this SMT, what could happen is we make a lower low, it gives the sign of a reversal, we start breaking higher, and then you kind of get confirmation that we're going higher. And that's kind of how SMTs work. It's just an early signal that price may possibly be reversing. So let's go to this time frame now. We have the sweep of the low. We have an SMT at these lows as well within our weekly imbalance. This SMT is not super strong. And I say it's not super strong because you kind of want to see a better sweep inside of that level. And then a push to the upside. A light sweep, a lot of times, is just liquidity for us to take again. So coming into today, you could have looked for a rejection off of this this 4-hour imbalance, which is inside of here. Boom. For our imbalance, we know that we just had a 4-hour break of structure to the downside right here. And so we know that our 4-hour is currently bearish, seeking lower prices. So coming back into here, we would have the expectation that we're going to sell again, and then we can go down to a lower time frame from there, maybe the 10-minute, 5-minute, whatever you deem fit. So after tapping into this 4-hour imbalance, we want to see an imbalance or a break of structure on whatever lower time frame you're choosing to trade off of. And in this instance, we can use I guess the 10-minute. Yeah, we're on the 10-minute at the moment. Let me get rid of the volume. Just so we can see more of this chart. And you can see we get a sweep slash break of structure to the upside. And then we break lower on the 10-minute time frame. This will be your 10-minute break of structure. And right here, you get this you get this area of price that we're working within from this high to this low. Now also on the 30-minute, you get a 30-minute break of structure from in the same area. So this is a 10-minute and 30-minute break of structure. So if I'm looking at the 30-minute time frame, this is my 30-minute structure right now. I have this high to this low, then we break higher, lower, higher, we come down, sweep this candle, making this the low, and then we get this high, and then this lower low right here. So now in this 30-minute structure, from this high to this low, we can look for a setup on a lower time frame. So we go down to the 5-minute or even the 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute, whatever. And now we're looking to see when price heads back up into this 30-minute area, you know, anywhere 50% up here, we can look for a sell position. So pulling my fib from the high to the low. Once we come back into here, we're looking for liquidity to be swept, and you can see right here, boom, a ton of liquidity. And then you can see we start to reject and we get the sweep. You can take it off of the close of this bearish candle or this pin bar candle right here. Boom, stop loss above the high. And then you can see how well this trade played out for a 2.3R risk to reward. And that's pretty much what went on today. I took long options for buys just for like long term, and they don't, one expires today, one expires in January, one expires this week on the 19th, and one expires the end of February. So with all that being said, I'm banking on the longer term play by, you know, mid-January to late February that we're going to be at least up here and maybe up here. Now, what could happen is we could just keep this rejection and hold it and continue down. Or we could get a reaction out of here, push up, I take one option contract off, or we could come lower and by the time my option is expiring, I'll still be in the money somewhere up here or even up here. So I'm just banking off of the reactions at the moment to the downside. I probably should have waited for the 4-hour to turn back bullish, which we can still get that sometime, this week. And that's my expectation. But like I said, TopStep was down, so I could not, in fact, really scalp or trade the setup that I just showed you. But, everything is not necessarily self-explanatory, but I explained it the best way I could, and I hope you guys understood it. Let's take a quick look at gold and see what gold did today. We can start off with, let's start off with the weekly. You can see we were definitely bullish, coming all the way down here out of this consolidation. Then we started pulling back. We came back into a higher time frame imbalance, and now we are starting to potentially look bullish back to the upside. So we ended up creating this weekly imbalance right here. Now let's see what the daily is giving us. So we ended up taking out this daily low, and then we started getting some pushes to the upside. So after the sweep, that would make me more so bearish on the daily time frame from this high to this low. And that's why you can see we get this reaction out of this daily order block, the last up candle before the down move. And we also have daily imbalance inside of here. But now you can see that we have this imbalance, and we also created a break of structure with this imbalance to react out of as well. So there's this supply zone and this demand zone that we are battling in. And you can see we're still just heading to the upside, holding bullish imbalances on the daily time frame. So bullish imbalance here that we're holding, then we end up pushing to the upside again, holding on to another bullish imbalance. So we're technically heading back to the upside on gold with these bullish imbalances, and that's really how gold looks at the moment. So we're approaching all-time highs, which is up here, and maybe we break all-time highs. There is 3 highs sitting up here. It looks like mainly 2. One of them was slightly swept. Yeah, one of them was slightly swept. So we have this high and this high that are still intact, and then also this high and this high. So there's a ton of liquidity to the upside on gold right now. There's this daily imbalance, and I'm just expecting higher prices at the moment. So 4-hour time frame, we got a let's look at the 4-hour structure. We got the high, low, high, lower, low, higher, lower, higher, lower, then higher. So extreme push to the upside, and now we have a 4-hour imbalance right here that we're pushing out of. So we ended up coming up, rejecting out of that, and now we kind of got more consolidation. So we're potentially looking to see another breakout occur, either to the upside or the downside. And that's pretty much how I see the market at the moment. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check the description link. And that is where you can find where I teach one-on-one as well as in a group. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.